All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jayna is about to come on and blow your mind in terms of your body, your wellness, nourishment, like real nourishment. What is that really? We're going to dive into that in this conversation. Perfect theme of the day of ultimate alignment. And we're going to be aligning the nourishment with your body and your soul and say, F you quick fixes. And I didn't say it, but like, bye. We don't need you. We don't need those cover-ups. We don't need the band-aids. We want to go deep. So we're going to bring Jayna on in just a minute here. Before that, though, let's talk to you because you're a world-changing human being, and I want to support you however I can. Number one, stay tuned to the live 12-hour marathons that we do every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. Number two, subscribe to the podcast. Stay tuned to that so you get all the latest updates and episodes every single day. We release a new episode out to you, so definitely subscribe to that. And then the last thing is I definitely want to support you in getting your message out more if you are one of these world changers, the guest who comes on my show, or you aspire to be one of those people. So let's have a conversation, see if now is the right time or sometime in the future. And the other part is when you're ready to launch your own platform, podcast, show, whatever else it might be, I would love to support you in doing that. It's one of my favorite things to do because I know what it's like to feel like I don't have a voice. And after creating this 12-hour marathon and podcast and platform, my life has freaking transformed so massively. So I want to give that gift away to a ton of people to help you discover your voice, your message, and your platform, and all the value and beautiful benefits that come with it. So let's talk about it. You can find me on Instagram at IamMillionaireChris, Facebook.com/th3burns, and also email chris@beergps.com. And I look forward to talking to you and supporting you however I can. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this into the iTunes review of the week. It's by Dr. Loki Lani this week, who says, inspiring. Chris Burns has a knack for attracting people to his show and turning their stories into powerful messages that inspire many. I love his passion and drive for his work. He authentically comes from the heart to truly impact individual society and the world to make this a better place to live for all. Keep inspiring us, Chris. Thank you so much, Dr. Loki Lani. And if you are out there listening, you want to get a chance at getting shouted out on a future 12-hour live stream, search Greatest Possible Self on iTunes or Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, a written review there, and you'll have a chance on getting shouted out. And then also definitely, again, subscribe to Greatest Possible Self, Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, on your favorite podcast platform so you can get all the latest updates and episodes, okay? Super powerful stuff. I want to keep supporting you in growing into your greatness. I'm going to introduce Jayna in just a second here. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes because this nourishment for your body is going to go deep. Okay, I'm all about that high vibe life, and you can't do it unless you have the right fuel and the right ingredients, and not just food, but also the types of thinking that you do and the nourishing in all areas of life. So we're going to dive into that. Grab a piece of paper and stay tuned all the way through till the end, because one idea has the power to change the rest of your life. Jayna Nordmark is a vibrant, powerful, healing woman on a journey beyond words, on the rise of being, doing, and having everything she desires. Her vision is to rise, restore, to climb, to connect, to bring unity and healing to the world. And she's here to bless you with some powerful wisdom and help you step into your greatness. Jayna, are you ready to rock the house, Superwoman?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I love it. We are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Jayna, thank you so much for being here and sharing your love and your wisdom with us and our tribe. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Chris. I am so excited.
I love it. Let's dive right in. Ultimate alignment, Jayna. What does that mean to you? How has it impacted your life?
Well, I think alignment is deeper than just good vibes. That's for sure. And that good vibe word really hit the market, and that trend, I'd say, about 2-3 years ago. So I think that alignment is truly that mental, that heart, your passion and truly feeling and understanding your emotions and understanding what your body's telling you. This body that we have is not just a place for us to live. Like, it's literally giving us feedback all the time. So I think alignment goes deeper than just a simple word. I think that in order to have it, you have to have a journey.
Preach it, sister. We are going in. So, Jayna, tell us a little bit more about how you serve your clients today and what you stand for.
I mean, I stand for unity. I stand for community, and actually, community has the word unity in it. I stand for integrity and really owning up to my truth and owning up to my actions that I do take in life. And I stand for life and for purpose and for vibrancy and for compassion for us all to really, align with each other. And this journey is ultimately a climb for all of us, because there's going to be ups and downs. Your heart rate is ups and downs. Like, what do you expect? It's like your body's literally giving you feedback all the time.
Yep.
And so I think that that's part of the journey in itself is, my journey has started obviously since I was a kid, but I'd say really starting to understand myself was back in like 2013 is when I started kind of doing that health. And then it just progressed from there. Some betrayal took place. And so I kind of got hit on a lot of different parameters. And I'd say this last year of mine has been a lot of momentum and a lot of self-discovery and really kind of finding my true passion. But without those other bumps and without those other bruises, I wouldn't have got to where I'm at now.
Oh my gosh. So there's so much gold. You just skimmed over, and we're going to go deep. We're going to go super, super deep into all that.
I go deep,
Well, we go deep. We go deep. Okay. So this is beautiful. So you stand for unity. You stand for community. You're like really bringing people together, bringing awareness to the nourishment, to the health. That's great. And we want to go into why. Why are you so passionate about this? Why did you create this conviction, this purpose, this like, I'm going to stand for this every dang day for the rest of my life, or like some form of it. This passion is fueling me and my message and what I stand for. You mentioned in 2013 was really when you started to dive into things. Tell us a little bit more about that phase and time in your life, and what did you discover? What were some challenges at that point?
So 2013 is when I started to get more into that fitness realm. We live in the Western society. We kind of separate our health. Right. We separated into fitness, we separated into nourishment, then we separated into mental state, and we really pull it all apart. So to really be honest, I was truly just in that physical state, and I was training in the gym, and I was just transforming my body. But through that, after I got all chiseled and shredded and I was competing, I still wasn't satisfied. I still wasn't like happy. I didn't feel fulfilled, and I still had some insecurities. I didn't think that I still looked good enough. So I guess you could say I fought some of my own insecurities at that time. And then in 2015, the relationship I was in went down spiral like quick, and it was devastating to me. It was probably the hardest thing that I have yet to this day truly endured. And it just hit in all parameters, like betrayal, it hit in so many areas. And that's really where my climb started. So from there, I moved to Kansas City, and I lived in North Dakota at the time. I haven't been in Vegas my whole time, but lived in North Dakota, and I moved to Kansas City. I just packed up everything and left, got out of that toxic relationship, and it was like, okay, this isn't in alignment with me. Like, I literally feel like I'm dying right now. Wow. And so then when I got to Kansas City, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And my whole philosophy is if you don't know, you got to just try things until you kind of have an idea. So I was working just a couple different jobs, and it wasn't really making ends meet, and that's like another stress in itself. And so one day I was working at a martini bar, and some climbers came in. And they were Cellphone tower climbers. So we just started talking, connecting and really kind of just bouncing off, feedback and conversation. And I decided that day to become a Cellphone tower climber.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Literally climbing for life.
Yeah, literally, right? And so I became a Cellphone tower climber, and I was actually the first female graduate to actually graduate from that place.
Wow.
And then at the company I worked for, I was the first female to get hired as a climber. So that was really cool in itself. And I climbed. That's what I was doing for work. And during that time, I just started envisioning, because mind you, I was still in that real heartbroken phase. Like I was a little, I guess you could say, I wasn't scared of anything, right?
Right.
I was at that point where you're like, I don't really care. Let's just try this. And so I started climbing, and I started to envision life like a cell phone tower, and how, there's different tiers. Like for the
Mm.
cell phone, for the towers, it's 20-foot segments, like each tier. And so I just started to envision like life like a tower. And that looking at it from the ground and looking up, and you're looking at 500 feet, you're like, oh my gosh, like I got to climb this today, like right now. And sometimes you're not ready to climb, like you're tired. Maybe you're sore from the day before, or you're just, maybe your mind's not right. You're just on
Mm.
that mental state. But my life literally depends on that. If I can't climb that thing safely, I'm not going to survive it. And so I started to climb it, and each day was a different tower. Each day was a different journey. And some days, there's a bunch of bird shit on the towers, and in life, people shit on you. Like it
Yep.
happens.
Yep.
So I really just started connecting that whole spectrum of it. And then from there, I really started getting into just reading for healing, because I was in a place where I literally felt like I was dying inside. I didn't feel, I looked fine from the outside, but I was not good on the inside. I was very good at wearing masks. I was very
Mm.
good at putting on that smile and putting on that face. And I really wasn't in that state of genuinity and, authenticity. And so from there, I started to really just dive into reading and into kind of trying to self-help myself. That whole saying, she was looking to be healed, so she became a healer.
Mm.
Because nobody else was really helping me in the area that I needed. I didn't have those people in my life that were really giving me that direction to start healing. And so I was just reading, like I was just searching how to do this.
Yeah.
And so from there, then I connected with somebody, and that kind of what brought me to Las Vegas. And so Vegas was just it was a leap of faith kind of
Mm.
move. It was, I have no idea what I'm going to do.
So we're gonna dive into Vegas
Yeah.
before we leave these last chapters, because this is gold. You were like hardcore about health in 2013. What is the wisdom that you gained, and what would you share with a woman who's like so focused on her health at the expense of everything else, or like not really taking a holistic view? Like, what is different then and now, and how have you gained wisdom from that point?
So when I was in like 2013, I was just, bodybuilder. So I was eating chicken, broccoli, and rice.
Hmm.
And that's it. It was competitive. It was just consistent. But the thing that I really learned from that time in my life is discipline. I was very disciplined, and to where I had a vision set, like I was going to get on that stage. And so that's kind of what drove me through it, was that true
Mm.
discipline.
That's good.
But what I realized from then to now is you have to find that balance. You really do, because during that time I missed out on a lot of family outings. I missed out
Mm.
on a lot of friend connections, because I literally put all of that on top of everything. And so, priorities, I'm not going to, myself is a priority, but I'm also not going to lose that time too. So it's like you have to find that balance for yourself, where you're still
Mm.
going for your goals, but you're not shutting everybody else out.
Mm.
Because people, community, like that's important. They're there to support you in ways that you can't support yourself. And so that was a big takeaway for myself from then to now. And then I really tapped into, that holistic approach where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And that's completely taken me from like 100 to like 100,000 for sure.
I love it. Okay, so the climb was the next really big part. Well, first of all, the betrayal was saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
on the climb," and then literally like the cell phone towers climbing for your life, which is epic analogy and part of your journey. And then the sections like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna take it day by day." Like I love how you shared that, and then also like if I'm not present, if I'm not like really here and now and focused on this activity, this task, I could lose my life. I could fall. I could, sustain serious injury. So I think that that's really powerful that you got an opportunity to be present with how are you feeling, is like what are all the thoughts that are going through your head, and like what are you experiencing? Because if you daydream and get caught up with those thoughts and have them overtake you and overpower you, then that could mean your life and losing your life. So I think it's freaking, what an amazing opportunity to be in a life or death, quote unquote, situation and scenario on a daily basis. It's a blessing.
Oh, absolutely. It was totally that scenario. And then working with all men too made me realize that, I can pull out that alpha in me and that masculinity, but having that femininity is really important too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another thing where I had to kind of find that balance, because I'm very much like an all-in kind of person. And now it's like, got to find that balance when you are all in.
Yeah. So what would you say has worked for you as far as developing and expanding the feminine inside of you? What has been something that's really helped you with that? Activities, shifts, reframes, what's made a difference for you?
I'd say when I moved to Vegas, that's when I started connecting with women again. I was honestly scared of women because I was betrayed as a young girl with one of my best friends. And so from there, I was like, oh, you can't trust them. But I connected with, some amazing, beautiful, genuine, like authentic beauties out here in Vegas. And I went to an event, called Meant for More. And that was truly something that just connection with women. And I'm still, in connection with them today. And so just to understand that, all women aren't out there to betray you. Like there's some out there who are really there to cheer you on.
Yeah, that's a story
what made me.
I was going to say that's a story that my girlfriend who hosted the event, Petya, she had as well. Like that women are catty and they do like stuff that's not nice. And I think in life you find what you're looking for, or what you have justified and said, this is how it is. This is the story. And another example about Vegas before I moved here is I said, man, that is a place where like strippers go and gambling is like Sin City, right? And I got here and I got an invitation to reframe it into, it used to be Sin City, quote unquote, and it's also being and becoming the sacred city, the place where there's light and there's love and there's beautiful divinity emerging here, So I think it's all about what we look for, and we'll find it. We'll find what we are wanting to find.
I think if you're looking for light, you'll find the light 100%.
That's right.
I really do. Because I agree with you on that. Like everyone's like, Vegas, like why? And I'm like, this is a city that you can truly discover yourself and truly find your purpose and your passion. And it's all about, really where you're at mentally and really what you're willing to kind of stretch from.
Yeah, so beautiful. So you got to Vegas. What happened? What was the new chapter that emerged when you arrived in Vegas?
Vegas was just a brand new discovery. It was kind of like that first year. I was just trying to figure out, really who I was, because I was still kind of recreating myself from that betrayal. I had lost who I was. And so it's been literally just me recreating myself. And when I got to Vegas, I started to connect with women and men who are on a path, of holistic healing. And so I started experimenting in different ways because, you get to a point where you're just like, I'm done feeling this way. Like you almost become desperate in a sense, but not desperate to where you're going to like do anything. Like I didn't want to suppress anymore. Like that's something that we're so accustomed to do, and we're taught to do that from, as children. And I was like, I'm done doing this. Like this isn't working for me. And so I started doing more. Instead of Western society, I went East.
That's right.
And I started doing Eastern, practices and this, that, and the other. And that really introduced me to some incredible people that I still am connected with today. And it actually ignited me to discover, like, I love plants and like, I love nature and how it's all here for us. Like literally everything is here in the ground and we get to consume it. And it's amazing. And it just connects with who we are as people. And it does some incredible things.
Amen. I love it, Jayna. So let's dive into this conversation about quick fixes and how we can be aware when we're attempting to use or numb or suppress with quick fixes, and how we can move more towards the nourishment side of things.
Well, with quick fixes, when I say quick fix, like I'm literally meaning, you say you have a headache and so you take Tylenol, right? And you're going to get results from that relatively quick. But if you continue to take that Tylenol, your body cannot actually break down that Tylenol because it's a chemical, and our body is made to break down natural. And so over time, you have to increase your pills that you're taking. And then it eventually, like, you're like, oh, Tylenol doesn't work for me anymore. And it's just because you basically, your body's tried everything to break it down, but it really can't. And so you have like all these chemicals in your body. And whereas nourishment is more so like, okay, example, let's say PMS, right? as a woman, if you track your cycle, you actually know when you're going to get it or when you should get it, right? And so say if you understand yourself and you pay attention to your body when you're going through those phases, say you get like cramps the week before, right? And you know that you get those cramps. And so a way for nourishment instead of a quick fix would be like popping a Midol the day that you get the cramps, right? Nourishment would be, okay, like the week before that week, I'm going to start drinking this tea because I know that this tea is going to actually prepare me so I don't get those cramps.
Wow.
So it's like you're giving your body the proper nourishment that it needs for what's coming. Because there's certain things that we know.
Yeah. So the quick fixes is usually drugs, Western pharmaceuticals, like these traditionally prescribed or subscribed things. And then the Eastern is more of like the natural herbal stuff that's from the ground, teas, flowers, plants, that kind of stuff that is going to be, able to be digested and utilized by our body in a healthy way.
Yeah. So imagine like you have, like, I'm a visionary, right? So I like to imagine like little things in my body, like little guys working in the body, like marching, doing their thing. And then I envision like I have like a cabinet full of all these things that my body has stored. So then when it's time for me to say I'm starting to get a cold, I prepared it already. And so it's just going to distribute it out versus me have to put something in. Because I've already prepared myself and given it so much nourishment because your body will retain what it needs. And if it doesn't need any more, like say that bottle's full, whatever it is, like say it's like sea moss or something, then it can just flush out, right? But as a chemical, it really takes a long, long time to get any of those chemicals out. It can take like anywhere from 7 years up to like 20 years to get, depending on how long you've been taking these types of things. And so that's kind of scary in itself. You're like, what, 20 years? Like, but it only took me like 2 seconds. So imagine if you're taking that type of stuff on a regular basis, what type of chemicals you kind of have in your body. And it goes so deep because then it's not just nourishment in that sense. It's also, nourishment and kind of what you're taking up here as well. It goes in so many avenues. It's crazy.
I love it. And I know you mentioned that you're a visionary. Tell us how that has played a role in bringing nourishment to people and why that's an important part of you and your journey.
Well, I think that, if you got big dreams and you got visions, you're actually more powerful than the person with all the facts. Because the facts are, past events and the visionaries are creating it. And I think that everything in this world that we have, it was created by somebody. And so my vision for the world is to truly, reverse things and really get things back to the truth because we've been lied to our whole lives about certain things and allowing people to have that knowledge and that understanding. And when I say inner, like it means that your soul gets it. It's not understanding. It's like you truly get it in your soul to know and have that knowledge. So then you have an ability to really make a choice because there's so much power in choice. And so my vision for the world is for people to heal themselves. You are a healer. Like every single person is a healer. Like I got a t-shirt out right now on my website that says I am a healer. And you are. Like everyone has the ability to heal themselves because your body is made to do that. Your body is made to heal. It's just giving the knowledge. I think that people just don't have that. And that's something that I want to provide. So then, we can heal each other and then I can take that healing and go deeper. And I actually want to, start diving and cleaning the ocean because we need water.
Yeah, absolutely. Nourishment. I want to dive into that even more. How does someone know what they need, what nourishment their body is requiring to be able to have that cabinet, quote unquote, full of nutrients ready to disperse whenever the body needs it?
I think that a lot of it just comes with being in alignment and listening to your body. So in order to get to that phase, like what I do in the morning, I literally open up my cabinet and I'm like, which ones do I need? And I just sit there for a second in silence. And then it's like, one will just come to me. And I'm like, okay, I need that one. And so I think in order to get to that point, you have to kind of flush your system and kind of detox. And a way to do that is just by changing your acidity that's in your body, because most people are very acidic, and turning that more into an alkaline state. Or just drinking a lot of water. A lot of people don't drink enough water. People who hit, say, age 35, they say like, wow, I'm starting to get wrinkles. And it's not because you're age 35. It's actually just because you're severely dehydrated.
Beautiful. So the big thing is checking in with ourselves, learning how to be our own guidance system, our own compass. And you mentioned that a lot of people are in acidity versus being alkaline, and the alkaline is the place where our body thrives more. And I think I've heard that like acidity is the oxidation of the cells and like creates free radicals and ages the cells, versus the alkaline is the like healthy balance that all of our functions are able to perform at the highest level and most effectiveness.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, honestly, acidic causes inflammation. It causes disease. Ultimately, is what it's going to cause. It may not cause it instantly, but if you do that route for 10, 20 years, your body is going to pay for it later. Because imagine, say, for instance, we've got a whole bunch of cells in our body, right? We've got a bunch of red blood cells, and they actually replace themselves, every 4 to 8 weeks, right? And so our body's constantly like reinventing itself, which is amazing. Yeah. And so we have these red blood cells, and our body is our job as right here is to nourish it. I got to nourish my cell. And so let's just, for example, say I've got purple cells and I've got green cells. We all know that they're red, but let's just call them purple and green. Okay. So the purple cells are the cells that are kind of in pain. They're not really as nourished as they should be because they're not getting the foods fed to them to really perform at their highest ability. Right? So let's just visualize purple. Okay. And then you start putting more alkaline into your body, and you start putting more greens. Like green is good, green's amazing. Put more greens into your body and starting to flush your system. So now you've got a cell that is half purple and half green because you've nourished it. And then you just keep going on that journey and you keep staying consistent. Like that's the big word, consistency. Yeah. And then you eventually will have these beautiful green cells. Once they're all green, you are essentially at an ability to really perform at your best. But until you get there, you may have some bumps along the way. You may fight some things. Even skin can be your body giving you feedback. Something's in there that's not happy, right? Yeah. And so to make it to where anybody can understand it, you want to have beautiful, nourished cells. And to do that is by, putting in real food. And when I say real food, like raw food, let's call it nude food, let's call it anything, right? That's just in its pure essence. So
that's awesome. And I want to dive into the nude food and the raw food because I think it's cool conversation. Before that though, I when you were talking about flushing out from the purple to everything being green again, I thought of the analogy, if you have a cup of dirty water, right? And you run clean water into it, the cup will still be dirty for a while. Like even if you're still running in the clean water, but slowly over time, it starts to get more and more clear, more and more clear, more and more clear, until eventually at some point you have a crystal clear glass of water again, assuming all the dirt doesn't just sink at the bottom, it is able to get out, so to speak. So I think it's just that consistency is super, super important. And also, I love how you mentioned in the beginning, like your fitness was a top priority for you. You had the discipline, you had the drive, you had the vision. You wanted to be like number one freaking competitor and win the trophies, right? And then you found out like, hey, I can use that drive, I can use that desire to climb and to be the best in a more healthy, holistic, balanced, harmonious way. So I think that's really cool, like that you switched your awareness, your consciousness, you evolved your consciousness to going, hey, I want to go where society tells me I should be going, and where to try to prove, try to be enough, try to be the hottest girl around, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm it's good to be hot, right? And like, what is the real priority? And it's that nourishment, it's that deep inner health. So I love that. Let's talk about the raw food and nude food. Why is it called nude food? I love it.
I mean, I really was just like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun name and fun analogy. It's going to be fun to play with. Yeah. And so I chose nude food because I think, our body's a temple, and in our natural self, we're absolutely beautiful, men and women apart. Like we're absolutely gorgeous the way we are. And when you really strip off the layers. And I also chose nude because I wore those masks for a long time. And I think that when you're truly in your nude, like you're in your authentic self because you really can't hide anything. And then also I just thought it'd be fun because nude is like, if there's no preservatives in the food, there's none of that, then it's basically nude food in itself. So there was a lot of different kind of reasons why I chose it, but it just kind of came to me and I was like, this is it. Like, we're going with it. Epic. And I've had some people kind of like, really, Jayna? I'm like, yeah, for real. Like, I'm standing strong behind this one.
Yeah.
And because it just was in alignment with myself. And like, I'm in a place right now where it's like my body's literally talking to me. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I think one of the best ways to like create a brand is to have it so it like kind of shocks people, kind of like jars them a little bit. Like, what? Did I just read that? Right. So that's good. That's good branding. So you just get to be consistent. What I found is just be consistent, like with the 12-hour marathon, of standing behind that and educating people. What does that mean? What does that look like? How can you take action on it? And that's like the biggest thing that builds the brand awareness so that like your mission is being fulfilled.
Yeah, and I mean, and C4L, just to clarify, because it's climb for life, it's actually like number 4.
Yeah.
And that actually stands for your mind, your heart, your health, and then your spirit and your soul. Because your soul and that touches every single thing you do in life, right? And so if you're out of alignment, like your spirit and soul's not happy. And your body will tell you that. And I can give some examples of that too. Yeah. But like your mind and your heart, it all connects. And so we're really on that health portion. And when you read the word health, it actually has the word heal in it, like in the word itself. And that's why I'm not somebody who believes in diets. I don't believe, because that actually has the word die in it.
Dang. What? I've never seen that. I swear, these subliminal programmings that people slip in, man.
Yeah.
Society, we love you.
Exactly. I mean, I was on a diet for 3 years, and I was really competitive. And so I don't believe in diets. And so any of the clients that I work with, they don't get any diets at all, because my whole thing behind, my message and my movement and my journey is to show people like, hey, I could give you a meal plan and you could succeed. Like, you totally could. You will get results. Your confidence may boost. But what if I came back into your life and I just took it away from you? What are you going to do? Like, you're going to be running around like, oh my gosh, what's next? Like, I don't know. And that's where like that power of knowledge comes behind it. And just having a conversation and connecting with somebody and just saying, hey, listen, like, let's take all walls down. There's no judgment. Let's have a conversation and let's get down to the root cause of kind of what's going on in your body, and maybe give you some knowledge so then you have the ability to make a really, really beautiful choice for yourself. And then it makes it easier to do that.
So how do people find out, like, what are the root causes of stuff that might not be going the way that they want it to in their life?
Like for nourishment people, like my body. Okay. Yep. So example for myself would be like, I've had a lot of skin issues for many, many years. My skin was always purging in ways. And that's the feedback right there from your own body giving you that, like, yo, I don't know how else to get this out. So I'm just going to like flare up your skin and give you no confidence and, all that good stuff. And to make you do something, right? And so for me, that was a big one for myself. Another one for me was, just recently, I mean, about 7 months ago, I was in a relationship that wasn't so great, and I lost like 17 pounds. And that's actually your body telling you as well, like, you're not nourishing yourself in ways that you should be. And it's because, stress was kind of taking a toll on my body as well. And so yeah, for like my skin issue, I just started kind of playing around with food. It really comes down to, we're human beings and we're here to create, right?
Yeah. And
so sometimes you literally get to create. You get to play around with your food and play around with what you're putting into your body and start analyzing it and kind of discovering yourself. Because Chris, are you your biggest discovery?
Yes.
Would you say that you are your biggest discovery? So discovering this is pretty important, right? Yeah. Like, I think that's a big reason to why we're here on this earth, is to truly discover our purpose and our gifts and all that. And I think in order, before you can really discover your true being, you have to discover this temple that's actually working for you as well. And so for the skin, I just started eliminating things and kind of pulling things back in and kind of tossing things back out. So I went from, eating a whole bunch of meat, a whole bunch of dairy, to eating just fish, and then I was still eating a lot of dairy, and then I went to like more vegetarian, so I cut out all the meat, and then from there I was like, okay, dairy is the issue, so I threw out dairy, and from there it really, so I'm plant-based now, and it's really transformed my skin. Like my skin's never been so clear. I'm so confident walking around with no makeup on, and I just rock my natural self. I mean, right now,
right, you're doing an interview.
but on my day-to-day basis, I'm really in like my true natural state, and it feels amazing to be able to do that too, because then I'm really in my authenticity as well. So for me, it was not like an instant thing. It was not no quick fix. It was really trial and error. It was discovering yourself and then figuring out the knowledge behind it, because once you have that knowledge, you can't lose it. Yeah. If anything, you're just going to refine it. You're going to learn more, and then I've become so just passionate about just. I love to read now. Like I look so. I mean, I've always loved to read, but I'm reading about books like about mucus and about like weird stuff. Yeah. But it's really just. It feels great to be reading that stuff because I'm so interested in how this body really works.
Yeah, and the more awareness you have, the more educated your decisions are, and also the more you are able to contribute to other people and like pour in this information and wisdom into their lives so that they can make better decisions, so that you can be the healer, right? And help them heal themselves, but also teach them how to heal themselves, because it's great to, for you to give them fish, but we always want to teach people to fish themselves whenever possible. I wanted to ask you, for people who like resist making nourishment changes and evolution in their in their nourishment choices, what do you recommend to those people, or what are some challenges? How do you resolve those challenges of like making the nourishment choice changes?
Making like the transition.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, it's just steps, honestly. Just taking a small step, say for instance, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to focus on nourishing my cells. Okay, I'm going to increase my omega-3s. That's a really easy thing to kind of implement into your life. Just start doing flax seeds or chia seeds. Like those are both really high in both of those. And then from there, maybe like, okay, you know what? I want to start moving toxins from my body. And so I'm going to start drinking some liquid chlorophyll, which is exactly what I'm drinking right now. I drink it all the time.
What is it?
And that's a super simple thing to do too. And there's, liquid chlorophyll. It's amazing. It comes from plants. Chlorophyll comes from plants. And so if you're not getting enough greens in your actual nourishment that you're doing, then this is a great way to still get that in, and it starts flushing your system because your body is holding typically about 10 to 20 pounds of just waste, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. And
so that would be the way, and just really just keeping it simple. I mean, I think that people really overthink things. You can go on Pinterest and be like, okay, let's get some recipes that are for plants or vegetarian or whatever. And then you're going to have these recipes, but there's so many ingredients and half the stuff you don't even know what it is and you've never even heard of it. And then you get frustrated, and then you feel like you can't talk to anybody because there's going to be judgment. And there's really not, if you just connect with the right person. Like, I have no judgment against where anybody's at in their journey, because I've been in those shoes. I've been that person that didn't eat good. I've been that person that drank a ton of alcohol all the time and lived for the weekend. I've been that person that did suppressants and just surrounded myself with people, constantly distracting myself. So I've had my own experiences to where I do have that compassion to really, sit down with somebody and kind of break it down and get it simple, because simplicity is beautiful.
Yes. I'm curious on your thoughts on supplements. I know you mentioned the liquid chlorophyll. In nude food, I see that like it gets stuff from the ground, plants, vegetation, greens, that kind of stuff. What's your opinion on supplements?
Supplements, it's difficult because I know that there's additives in it. And so once again, it would be somebody who's on their journey, because I've taken supplements myself, and now I don't take any unless it's literally a supplement, but it's not really, because it's just a herb. But I can still put it in a pill, and then it's like a supplement, right? So I think it's just on your journey, you'll discover, and you'll get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to go 100%, just real and natural. But I think the territory of it, people want that quick fix, that want that maybe that community too, because there's a lot of supplements out there that are just so in your face, and you're not seeing this other natural stuff really in your face. And that's just a marketing thing. And it's something that you can just look aside from and really realize that there's other avenues out there. So some supplements, I think that you are going to get some benefits from them, right? But say for instance, like a supplement that has got maybe like some whey in it, like a whey protein, right? That's essentially like it's a dairy. And so dairy just causes inflammation to the body. And so, yeah, you may be getting your protein, but you're also getting inflammation. So then are you really getting the full benefit of that supplement? Not so much. And then all of the powder that they're putting into it, all the fillers, that the fillers could be anywhere from baking soda to baking powder to sand. Like it can be anything. And so that's where I'm kind of iffy on it. If there's anything that has an ingredient in there that I don't know, I probably shouldn't put it in my body. If I can't, that's kind of my philosophy. If it's like a 17-letter word and I don't know what that is, I don't think I would put it in my body. That's kind of how my mentality is. So now I'm making like a lot of my own nut milks. I'm making, and just keeping the food simple. I don't think there needs to be necessarily like 12 ingredients for something to taste really good. And your taste buds, your palate changes over time as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you recommend to people who want to get like more education on choosing proper nourishment for them and being, more educated, more aware, more intelligent about their choices?
I would just start connecting with people who are maybe on that journey. Because that whole saying, if you're wanting to make a shift and you're not the most knowledgeable, go find the people who are doing it and being it, who are literally living it. I think that that's a great front door to kind of walk into. And secondly, I would say, pick up a book. Maybe pick up like a holistic book or something like that, or walking into a herb store and just starting a conversation with somebody like, listen, I'm wanting to, make a change, make a shift. And I'm sure that person is going to be thrilled with those words. Especially in the world that we're, really, I feel like we're really starting to emerge into is people are more open and more, let me teach you. And that's what community and unity is all about.
Yeah. And I think it's like when you see that willingness for someone to learn, it's like you just want to pour into them. People want to make a difference. They want to be that contribution,
Exactly. You just want to like take them in and hug them and be like, let's do this. Like, I'm excited.
It's like, I get where you're at. You're not alone.
You're not alone. I've been there.
I love it. So you mentioned you're reading lots of great books today in terms of like learning more about the body, being more educated on it. Is there any other like big sources of inspiration for you that keeps you going, that keeps you motivated, that keeps you encouraged, like podcasts, books, events, anything like that comes to mind that like is really a driving force for you?
I mean, I just surround like my circle. I just follow a lot of people that I want to learn from, and people are sharing constantly out in the world, like whether it's just Instagram stories or the IGTV, just looking up hashtags like holistic or like natural, like you can discover a lot by just doing that. I've gotten a lot of the books that I've been reading just from people who are suggesting them and really taking that suggestion into me actually doing it. That's a big piece of kind of how I've made that shift. Or somebody says, yeah, drink this water. I'm like, okay, I've never had it, but let's do this. Like you just put trust in them because they're maybe being what you want, and maybe their energy levels really inspire you, or you just get to a place. Sometimes people just get to a place where you're done. Like you literally are like, I'm done with this, and you'll do anything. And that's kind of what my journey was. Like I got to a place where I was like, I'm done feeling this way. Like send me something. And then boom, it's like something came and I jumped on it. Like I didn't even research it. It was like, I said yes and just did it. Because I didn't want to, that fight or flight response. I didn't want to scare myself out of it, by maybe reading testimonials or anything on it. And I really just trusted my intuition on it and just did it. And it literally was that first kickoff for myself. And then from there, I've just been climbing, going.
I love it. I've noticed that you do lots of like morning routine videos and like morning routine stuff. Like tell us about that and why that's important for you to be sharing with your tribe and what got you started on that.
Honestly, it was just one morning I was like, you know what, I'm just going to fast record this and just, I just wanted to share like what I do in the morning. Cause and share it in his true self. And every day is consistent. I'm basically wearing the same thing. Like it's always is consistent. And every morning I like the same smoothie. You know, I think we are creatures of habit. When you really get that habit that you love, like you literally crave it the next morning, like you want the same thing. And so for me, yeah, I make my smoothie. Like my smoothie that's my every morning thing. And then I take my liquid chlorophyll, which, you know, I talked about. It's a detoxer. It's incredible for you. It's so good. It detoxes your blood. It's hunger cravings. It helps with like the bad hunger cravings. There's so many great things that it actually has benefits. And then I drink my black seed oil. And recently I've just incorporated taking in a celery shot. I really don't like celery though. I don't like the taste of it. And I'm just being truth. Like I don't like it. But I have been doing it every morning, and you know, we'll see if that adds anything to how I'm feeling. And that right there is just a test on myself. Like I literally test everything on myself before I even put it out there. Because I think that in order to really connect with somebody, I have to genuinely know and understand it myself. And that comes with food. So yeah, I just started doing it. And I think that it shows any people who see it or watch the stories consistently, like, wow, she's really stepping in with that integrity, and she's living it 100%. She's being and she's doing it. And I think that that's inspirational in itself, to really showcase that you're not just talking it, that you truly are walking it. And just recently, you know, I had just to kind of I'm going to slightly derail it just slightly, but it's important to me for the fact of, that our body's giving us feedback. And so I was kind of going through my own, you know, emotions, and my body started telling me I had these cravings, like these weird cravings. And I was like, why am I having these cravings? And so that's another feedback in itself, that when maybe you're having a craving of something that's something you never crave. In my case, it was macaroni and cheese. And I was like, why do I have this craving? And it was just some emotions that I was kind of dealing with at that time. And basically when you have like a craving for something bready, or a craving for something really creamy, bready means you're dissatisfied and that you're a little insecure. And I was definitely in that state. Creamy was definitely that I'm needing to be comforted and nourished. And I was definitely in that state. Like I was like, wow, okay, body, cool. I'll nourish myself this weekend. Like I'm just gonna pour into myself. So that's just a little side note of kind of my true story, and really giving it out for the people to see, whether it's a consistency video or really just sharing out my heart and kind of my own experiences.
I love it. And that speaks to alignment, which goes back to, you know, where we started this conversation. But you also mentioned about not liking the taste of celery. How does someone know if like a preference for something, or a taste for something, like a dislike for something, how do they know if that's out of alignment for them, or if it's just something that they're not used to? How would you guide someone on that, if it's like good for them, but they just don't like the taste or the flavor of it?
Well, I think that if you've been having maybe a lot of preservatives and a lot of food that's really not food, that your taste buds are going to be kind of altered, and you're really actually not going to be able to make a very, very smart decision either way. So I think that sometimes once you start doing that clearing and really detoxing yourself and doing it in a natural state, then your taste buds do change. And if you don't like it, I do believe that like in my case, like the black seed oil, when I started taking that, it didn't taste very good, because I mean, it's oil, like I'm drinking oil. But now I don't mind it at all. So it took, you know, just maybe a couple weeks to really adjust to it. And I think that just like if I'm working out, right, and I start training in a gym, and those first couple of weeks, I'm going to be sore, more sore than any other time after. And that's where that consistency kind of comes into play again. And so I think that consistency on it. As for if my taste buds don't like it, I think that if it is a good food for you, like nourishing your cells, I don't think that there's going to be different oils that are being better for you. I think that a lot of it just comes from consistency, and then you'll start actually not minding it at all. Because if you're truly nourishing yourself, you can kind of get over that fact, like, I don't really like the taste of this, but my body is sure thanking me right now. And so it's in that state, taking that role and being that person that's like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and submit to my body so I can properly nourish it as well. I think that we have that ability to do that as well.
So what I'm hearing is have a willingness to explore and experiment with new types of foods. If we've heard from friends or education or whatever else it might be that this is good for us, one, have the consistency and willingness to stick it out for a couple weeks if it came on our radar, and if we think we're supposed to do it, then roll with it, see what it's like for a couple weeks or however long, a couple weeks to a couple months, depending on how long we feel we get to give it a try, give it a shot. And then like if after that time don't feel like it's making a difference, don't feel like it's right for us, then we can choose with a conscious choice, like, okay, that's not the right thing for me. But the taste is like second to the education, second to listening to people who have the wisdom, who say these are the benefits it will provide you in your body, potentially, like this is what we've seen. Try it out for yourself. Give it a shot.
Yes, exactly. Like just test on yourself, and then you'll decide. Because I've thrown out things for myself that I don't consume anymore because I just didn't really. I may have liked them, but I felt my body didn't like them. Like there's truth in that. And then there's some things that I didn't really like, but like my body, like the black seed oil, but my body's really liking, and so I'm allowing myself to go ahead and continue doing that for the sake of my body. Whereas there's some things that are just neutral, or maybe there's another alternative that I can do instead of it. Because, we live in a world of infinite possibilities and choices. So I'm sure there's something out there that will work extremely well for you, especially living on Earth. Like everything should be here for us. And so I'm sure that there's something else out there that you can put in instead.
That's right. So I want to talk about how people can work with you. How can people take the next steps? What does that look like? And how do they do that?
So I'm definitely taking on some one-on-ones, whether it's I can coach you in ways of just your fitness realm. I can coach you with your nourishment and truly kind of pouring into yourself and kind of just taking those small steps, as well as just kind of listening to your body and that true, allowing some of that suppression in that jar that maybe you've packed full will start to submerge as well while you're cleaning up your diet, cleaning up your life as well. Because it will start to surface, especially since you've been suppressing it for so long. So that's something in itself. One client that I work with, she's truly transformed. It's absolutely incredible. Her skin is glowing now. She's got so much more energy. She's dropped 40 pounds in about 4 months. And we've done it with no diet. There's no meal plan. We've done it with just communicating, and I give her feedback and I let her know, hey, Kate, you got this option or this. If you do this is what that's going to do. And I allow her to make her own choice, and then we go from there. Instead of me being like the ruler or something like that, it's more like, let's create equals. Like, let's work together on this. And, then we got to a place where she allowed some emotion to come out, and I was so excited. I was so thrilled when that happened. I was like, yes, like liquid purification, like we cracked in, because we live in a world where we're like, oh, we just have like a box around us, and some of us have a really big box. I had a box that was in there. I mean, I had like metal, I had like barbells, I had like cement. It was like people had to crack in, but the minute you crack in, you realize that whole time you were hiding from the light, and it's been trying so hard to get in. And so once that crack came in, then she allowed emotions to come out in different ways. And that's another part of the alignment, is that your body is literally going to start releasing stuff. And so it's truly a journey. And that's something I had said before, she decided to work with me. Like, this is a journey. It's not going to be like that. Like, I'm really going to pour into you and nourish you and, nurture you and get you to a point where you feel confident and you feel like you can climb this journey of yours. Like, you are fully capable of doing it. And so that's the way, just the one-on-one coaching. I am taking on clients for that. And then the nude food, the recipe guide, you can start with that. That is definitely an avenue, because that may, start sparking up some passion in yourself. And then you can reach out to me anytime. I love connecting with people. And then the other way is just the movement that I'm creating, and just supporting in those avenues as well, and kind of just watching me on my journey. Because you'll see that I have, 2 shirts out right now, and they are limited edition because my journey is constantly transforming. It's constantly moving. And so I'm not sure how many couple months, but I'll come up with a new one, and then you'll have an idea of kind of what I'm going through at that moment myself, based on what that t-shirt will be about. So it's really about allowing all of us to be on this journey together and climbing for our life.
Amen. So what are the websites and social media handles so people can find you, Jayna?
So on Instagram, I'm probably the most active on Instagram. It's jayna.climbforlife. And then my website's jaynaclimbforlife.com. Facebook is just Climb for Life.
Beautiful. And I always love to spell things out. So your Instagram is at JAYNA period climb, CLIMB, the number 4, LIFE. And the website is JAYNA CLIMB, the number 4, LIFE.com. Jaynaclimbforlife.com. I love it. I love it, Jayna. And your last name is Nordmark, Nordmark. No C, M-A-R-K, and Nordmark. And they can find you on Facebook with that, and also get your nude food guide, contact you, have a conversation with you, and also check out your shirts as well on your website, right?
Absolutely. That hour went so fast, Chris.
Flew by. And since we are on fire, burning it up at this end portion, let's bring it home, Jayna, with some final wisdom that you want our audience to receive and take action on because of this interview. What is it?
I would say in this world that we live in today, we got to keep it simple. We've got too many things out there that are confusing us. We're on a swivel with all the different fads that are out there. Listen to your body. Take control of it. That's the one thing we can control, is this and what we put into our mouth. So move, right? Move your body every day for at least 30 minutes. Just sweat. Okay, sweat for 30 minutes every day. Keep it simple. Number 2, keep it nourished. Nourish yourself with natural, non-processed, real foods. And number 3, hydrate.
Jayna, you are the bomb. Thank you.
Drink your water.
That's right. Drink your water. Hey, amen, girl. Go through one of these every single dang day. That's right. Gallons, yo, gallons. Okay, Jayna, you're a freaking powerhouse. Thanks for coming on. Looking forward to many more adventures with you, and I know you'll be back on in the future. So thank you. Keep growing, keep climbing, keep being your GPS, girl. Proud of you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your night. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.